You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. The LSU Tigers are on a heater right now on the recruiting trail. Tigers currently have the number one class in the country with 9 commits. As a matter of fact, they added 3 commits on 3 consecutive days. Thursday with Tristan Keys, the number one receiver in the country. Friday, Dylan Purter, defensive back out of Alabama. And then Saturday, Jabari Mack, their wide receiver out of New Orleans. We spent time talking about Tristan Keys last week whenever he committed. So I want to take a quick minute here and talk about both Dylan Purter and Jabari Mack. So much of this recruiting class, whenever we talk about it, is going to be focused on the Louisiana guys. Said it a ton, but there are 6 players in the top 100 nationally from the state of Louisiana in this 2026 class. It's a bumper crop, so you got to get those guys to stay home. But obviously, you're also going to have to go cherry pick positions of need and players that you want from outside of the state. Dylan Purter is a really interesting one. He is a defensive back, 6'1", 172, out of Booker T. Washington in Tuskegee, Alabama. So he's an Alabama kid, 6'1", 172, and listed as a cornerback. Okay, so he plays cornerback in high school. And when you look at his, and he's recruited as a cornerback, that's how he's graded, I should say. And when you look at the On3 rankings, he's a consensus 4-star, number 339 nationally, the number 29 cornerback in the country, the 14th best player in Alabama. So a good prospect. And I often say it's not just, the star rating or the ranking or any of that stuff. I'm way more interested in who is recruiting you, because that is far more telling. Well, LSU, Florida, Auburn, South Carolina, Arkansas. He's got big-time offers there, and some smaller schools as well. Vandy, Missouri, still SEC schools. Houston, Liberty. But here's what I found most interesting when I started kind of peeling back the layer of the onion on Dylan Purter. Obviously, to go into the state of Alabama and get a guy away from a school like Auburn that it offered is a big deal. But LSU only offered a month ago on February 17th. So in a month's time, he went from getting the LSU offer to popping a commitment. And his primary recruiter, even though he's listed at cornerback, his primary recruiter isn't Corey Raymond. It's Jake Olson. His primary recruiter is the LSU safeties coach. Corey Raymond is the secondary recruiter. That tells me he could end up playing either position at LSU. And here's what I point out. As much as LSU needed an improvement in the defensive backfield, and they did, you have loaded up your numbers there, and you shouldn't expect a big turnover in the secondary after 2025. Follow me here. The guys you know are gone are Jordan Gilbert, who'll be out of eligibility, and Mansour Delane, who's a senior. Those guys will be gone. 1 safety, 1 cornerback. Everybody else could return. Among your safeties, Deshaun Spears will be back, Toviano, Tamarcus Cooley, Joel Rogers, CJ Jim Coyley, who's a freshman, Jace Thomas, who's an incoming freshman. All those guys are back. At corner, Stamps, Pickett, Jakeem Jackson, P.J. Woodland, Michael Turner, Aiden Anding, Wallace Foster. All those guys are back. Now, of course you're going to lose guys in the portal. No school, no program is immune. You're going to lose some guys in the portal. But the point is, you got numbers in the secondary. So you bring in a guy that's 6'1", 170 pounds, plays cornerback, so he's got those coverage skills, but also can play safety if you want to put some size on him, and safety with cover skills. It makes a lot of sense, and you're not going to need him to be an immediate impact guy like you may need DJ Pickett to be an immediate impact guy this year at cornerback. So that's a fascinating get from Alabama, but a guy that you can bring in and maybe mold into either a corner or a safety because you don't need him to play immediately. Not that dissimilar from Javen Toviano. Not that dissimilar from someone like, I could look at Juwan Johnson when he showed up, corner, star. They moved him around a bunch. Now he's playing quarterback. But anyway, the point is they've shown versatility with a lot of their defensive backs. So Purter commits on Friday, and a day later on Saturday, LSU lands Jabari Mack out of Destrehan. And y'all, we have given a big round of applause to Destrehan over the years here because Destrehan has been good to LSU. I mean, you even look currently with Kalaj Cobbins. We just mentioned Jace Thomas, who signed in this recent class as well. Now you've got Jabari Mack committed for 2026, and you can go back to Justin Jefferson, Ricky Jefferson, Jordan Jefferson, John Emery. There's a long list of dudes from Destrehan who have come to LSU. That pipeline has flourished, and Destrehan has been an awesome supporter and supplier of talent to LSU. And Jabari Mack is a dude that everybody wants. And you go through that bio, wide receiver, 6 foot, 200-pounder, number 82 nationally, so he's a top 100 player, 11th best receiver in the country, 5th best player in the state of Louisiana, and a stacked Louisiana where we talked about 6 dudes in the state in the top 100 nationally. You've now got 4 of the 6 committed. The only 2 that are uncommitted are the top 2. And Lamar Brown and Blaine Bradford, and LSU feels pretty good about both of them. You want to talk, like I just mentioned, about who is recruiting you, who's offered? LSU, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Texas A&M, Auburn, Penn State, Tennessee, Miami, Florida State, Michigan, Nebraska, and a partridge in a pear tree. Like, everybody has offered Jabari Mack. Stud receiver that everybody wants, and now you got him committed. And just what I talked about with the defensive backs, it is the complete inverse at receiver because you're losing all of your production at receiver. Aaron Anderson, gone. Chris Hilton, gone. Xavion Thomas, gone. Berrien Brown, gone. Nick Anderson, likely gone, although he could return for a 5th year. The guys you'll have returning, Parker, Watkins, Bill Yacht, very likely Destin Hill, Teron Francis, Phillip Wright, a couple of freshmen. Of those names I just mentioned, the only ones that have a reception, now Destin Hill had 6 catches in his career at Florida State, but the only one with a reception is Kyle Parker. Now, some of those guys may accumulate stats this year, but it's going to be tough to break through. So you're losing all of that production after 2025, and you have this numbers gap because of the transfers. Remember, 2023, you signed Jaylen Brown, Shelton Sampson, Kai Preon, and Kyle Parker. You signed 4 receivers in the 2023 class. The only one still here is Kyle Parker. Brown and Preon were gone after 1 year. Shelton Sampson stayed 2 years. Now he's gone. So all of the guys that would be your experienced depth are gone. So you need to fortify. You'll need to fortify in the next portal cycle with transfers so you have some experienced guys and with the young guys to grow up beneath us. BK has kind of said he wants that 55% of the roster to be with the high school guys they've recruited. Well, you got to fortify. So you look at this receiver class right now with Tristan Keys, Jabari Mack, Kenny Darby, Ja'Kai Anderson. You got 4 already. And you might not be done there either. And I'm going to tell you, recruiting rankings aren't everything. But when you start to look at the best recruiting classes LSU's ever put together at receiver, you can make a very strong argument that the 2021 class was the best one ever. Yeah, Deion Smith, who was the top player in Mississippi, unfortunately never played at LSU. But Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Jack Besh. Those were your 4. Malik Neighbors, believe it or not, was like 150 overall. It's crazy to think. What a miss. Jack Besh didn't even have a national ranking. But look at what you have right now. Keys is the number 3 player in the country at any position. Mack is 82. Darby's 149. You got 3 in the top 150, including the number 3 and number 82 overall players. And Ja'Kai Anderson's 290. It's like you take a quote-unquote flyer on Besh, who we knew was awesome, but the scouting service just missed it. Same there with Ja'Kai Anderson, who does have a rank. He's in the top 300. So the point is, again, none of these guys have done anything in college, but when you're putting together the rankings and rating a recruiting class, this receiver class could end up being the best receiving class ever that LSU has signed in one cycle. And Jabari Mack, a big part of that. Again, I understand all the cynics. Yes, got to get him to signing day in December. No doubt. You got to get to December. But a heck of a start for Brian Kelly and the squad here putting this class together. Number 1 class in the country now with 9 commits for 2026. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.